Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of the Automedics show on NTA2 Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Ben and I have Kunle Shonaiki here with me. We call him Dr. K. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. Today, as usual, we'll be discussing a topical issue that relates with your vehicle, and we're looking at vehicle breakdown. Well, we're going to break it down to you so that you really understand when we're talking about breakdown. Breakdown in various sections of the vehicle, what can actually cause a breakdown. And of course, you know, a lot of people will be traveling during this period.
Oh, yes.
For you not to experience any breakdown, we'll give you some of the tips that you also need to be aware, some of the telltale signs that your vehicle will give you when some of those things are about to happen. And also, you'll be able to call in the course of this program, and we'll take up your call, you tell us exactly what your problems are with your vehicle, and we'll give you solutions to some of those problems. But we'll be doing that right after this short break. Don't go away.
You know that you can actually drive your vehicle without engine oil for 50 kilometers. This is very, very achievable, all thanks to Polytron. Still a doubting Thomas? Let our technician prove this to you.
We are about to drain the engine oil of this car to see the power of Polytron, the product that has nanotechnology buried in it, because we believe that Polytron is already working in it. And after doing that, put the car together and we'll drive it around.
Now that you have seen the power of Polytron, buy a bottle today to increase the lifespan of your engine, reduce fuel consumption, save cost also on expensive repairs.
Strong communication skills, good diagnostic skills, problem-solving skills, solid work ethics, strong technical aptitude, and up-to-date technology. Watch Automedics on your reach-out station as we provide clear-cut solutions to your automobile problems. Automedics, showing every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. with a repeat broadcast at 11:30 a.m. on Saturdays. Automedics, the best hands on your automobile.
Welcome back to the Automedics show, and like I said earlier, we'll be discussing a topical issue. But if you have any challenge with your vehicle, you'll be calling these numbers: 0701 627 2025, 0701 627 2025. Now,
Yes, sir.
We are going to discuss vehicle breakdown.
Yes.
And of course, you know, there are several breakdowns on the vehicle. And I want us to start looking at them one after the other, because you could have breakdown in...
it could be mechanical,
yeah,
it could be electronic,
yeah,
and it could be something structural.
Exactly.
And any of this could happen,
yeah,
on the road.
Exactly.
So
can you give us a breakdown? Let's start from the the minor ones before we go to the most critical ones.
The minor ones I would tie both with the electricals and the mechanicals.
Okay.
You know, the raining season has, though it rained yesterday,
yeah,
but I would say the rain has gone away.
Yeah.
But people will be wondering, why am I still having problem? You're going to have problem, most especially when the weather is getting hot.
Okay.
We have this perennial traffic on Lagos Road now. You see a lot of vehicles breaking down, and in most cases when you see these vehicles breaking down, you see them overheating.
Yeah.
And that's number one major problem most people have. And you know, some of these vehicles are not really overheating. They don't have any problem, but because the driver or the owner have gotten used to the temperature not rising to the optimum temperature,
yeah,
and they believe that the vehicle is overheating,
yeah,
they stop it in the middle of the road. Though you will find some that are really overheating, that you see them steaming over, you see the water boiling over under the hood,
yeah,
and they'll be wondering what caused a lot of things can cause these things.
Now let me just break in here a little bit. When you talk about optimum temperature, because a lot of people will not really understand what you mean by optimum temperature.
When you're looking at optimum temperature, you're talking of 210 degrees, which is 100 degrees Celsius.
Okay.
And you know, based on the region the vehicle...
But that is boiling point.
Yes. Based on where the vehicle is coming from,
yeah,
would determine Are they using Fahrenheit or Celsius?
Yeah.
But when people see this, people are used to their temperature not getting just above the low point, which is about, you're looking at about 160, 180 degrees sometimes.
Yeah, but when you keep saying 160 and all that, you know, most of the people in this climb here
are used to Celsius.
Exactly.
So I'm looking at about 70, 80.
Yeah.
That's Celsius. That's what they're looking at. And they want, once it goes above that, to them, it's overheating. And most vehicles this day, the way they are designed is to get to a boiling point, which is 210 degrees. And if you look at the temperature gauge, it's graduated in a way that it has a middle point.
Exactly.
In most cases, the middle point, you see a line there. Whether it's graduated in Celsius or Fahrenheit, the middle point, that's where you have the boiling point in most cases. And let's look at this temperature. The temperature is rising now because of the we're going out of the raining season. The weather is not. And with the traffic we have in Lagos, and I will not look at Lagos alone because last couple of weeks I've been going around Nigeria and I see traffic everywhere. When you get into a traffic situation and you notice your temperature going up, when your temperature rises above the middle point, if your vehicle components are working perfectly,
like the cooling system components.
Yes, the cooling system component. That's when the fan will come on. When it gets to that boiling point, which is the middle point, it goes above it a little bit. When it goes above it, the fan will come on. If you're using an electric fan, the fan will bring it down to the middle point. It goes off. But because most people are used to it staying way below that midpoint, when it goes above the middle point, they believe it's a problem. And when you get into a traffic situation, you're going to have problem. The problem you're having is this. All the vehicles around you is generating heat, coupled with the weather. The temperature, the ambient temperature at that time, it's high. You have vehicles around you. Every one of those vehicles is
blowing heat
out of the exhaust pipe. Now, your radiator fan, its job is to suck in the outside air. And it's to cool the radiator and the condenser. But in this case, instead of sucking in cold air,
fresh air,
it's sucking in warm air than normal. You're talking of temperature reaching about, an average temperature these days is about 20-something degree.
It depends on the day. Anyway.
It depends on the day.
Sometimes
but
33,
let's just say 28. Now, coupled with the exhaust heat, at that time, you're sucking in about 30-something, about 34, 35. That's going to spike up your temperature. There's tendency for your vehicle to overheat at that point. If your radiator fans, most especially if the radiator fins are clogged up. Mind you, we're just going out of the raining season. Most of us drive through the flood. When you drive through the flood, you're going to pick up some dirt. And these dirt are going to get stuck to the fins of the condenser and the radiator, which will reduce the amount of air that's going to be sucked in through the fins of the radiator and the condenser. When this is happening, this temperature is going to spike up. And when this happens, you're going to have problem with overheating.
Now, apart from the fact that the optimum temperature, you say, is a boiling point, 100 degrees or 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Most people in their vehicle cooling system, they use ordinary water. That contains some minerals already in it.
When you're using ordinary water, there's tendency for the temperature to go up quickly.
I know that if the temperature of boiling for water is 100.
It's 100. So when you're using just water, your cooling system is going to heat up quicker than when you're using the regular coolant, which we call a radiator cooler or antifreeze. You see, I don't want to call it antifreeze in this environment because our weather doesn't freeze. But it has some agents in it that prevent it from boiling. The boiling point, it's anti-boil, anti-freeze, anti-rust. The boiling point is higher than water. When you have ordinary water in your radiator cooling system, the temperature is going to spike up quickly.
Yeah. So which means there's tendency for vehicles who don't have coolant in their system to actually overheat
Oh,
at this
definitely, definitely. You're going to have that problem in this season.
So that is one issue of breakdown. Now let's look at other breakdown, like on the suspension system too.
You see, on the suspension system, because of the rainy season that we had, most of the roads are damaged, though in various states they're trying, most especially in Lagos State, they're trying to fix the bad parts of the roads, but you still have some bad spots. Now, when you're driving through these rough roads, we're causing a lot of damage to your suspension and the steering parts. And most people, I won't say in Nigeria alone, it happens all over the world, but most especially in this environment, we tend to neglect our vehicle until it breaks down. Now, some of these parts will have worn out. You're talking of your ball joints, your tie rod ends, the control arm bushings. All these parts are going to wear out. But because you cannot see them, and most of us, when we're driving, we turn off the music, we cannot hear some of the squeaking, the popping sound these things are making. We don't, and some of us are used to the way the steering wheel feels. We don't even notice any clearance in it. And when all this coupled together, you keep driving the vehicle. One day, all it takes is for you to get into small potholes, and something falls off. The ball joint can separate, or the tie rod end can separate. Anything can break. And what happened is because of the way the condition of the road is, and going over time, going over this road is going to cause damage. Yesterday I went to Osun State. Coming back, I saw about 3 vehicles on the road with their ball joints off. And the guy that was with me was asking me, he said, Dr. K, why is this happening? I said, because that guy neglected his car. When you take it for a maintenance, regular maintenance, it's your mechanic job to check it. Though most mechanics don't do, because when you go, they just do the oil change, the normal service, and they send you out. But when you take your car in for maintenance, there should be a checklist for the technician or the mechanic to go through and check those things. He doesn't have to really take anything off, but there's a way he can check it and tell the customer, this thing is wearing out. It can happen on the road anytime. There's no way you can tell when that damage will happen. So you have some of these things, and these are you can say it's part mechanical and structural.
Now what I'm also concerned about here too, because our viewers also need to know, what are some of the telltale signs, like, okay, I have a problem with my vehicle. How can I be able to discern that, okay, this is actually a problem or not? You spoke about the cooling system, temperature spiking. What is the dangerous situation there, or what I shouldn't worry about? Now we are looking at the suspension now. What are the noise or some of the feeling I will have?
Looking at the suspension, when you're looking at the noise, you see, when you're driving, most especially these days on modern day vehicles, there are some lights on your instrument cluster that warns you of some impending danger or problem that's going to happen. These lights are there to warn you, most especially when it shows yellow, it's warning you. When it's red, it's danger. That means it has happened or it could happen anytime. Now, some of the telltale signs when we're looking at suspension, it's noise, sounds. But because most of us, when we're driving, we turn the music on and we don't pay attention to some of these noise or sounds on our vehicles, or we tend to ignore them. These are the reason why most of these things will cause havoc on the road or cause a damage. And most of the time when these things do break down, we're talking about suspension now, it causes more damage to the vehicle. That is, if it doesn't cause an accident. It causes more damage because let's assume your ball joint sheared off. It tears out the whole complete lower control arm, messed up your bumper. And the signs, when you're talking of sounds or the noise you hear, if it's a ball joint, you're going to hear some popping sound when you're driving, most especially when you get into some rough roads on some spot, depending on the speed
that you approach it.
Yes, you will hear this popping sound because it's going to be clicking because it's inside a socket and it's going up and down, up and down. And you hear this popping sound. Sometimes, you know, mechanic will fill it with grease, so it reduces this popping sound, but you still have this sound. And what's happening when it's popping, it's wearing out the cone.
Yeah, because it's actually friction taking place.
Yeah, friction is taking place already, and it will widen the hole.
Yeah, and then the ball pulls out of the socket.
Once it gets to you have an impact.
Yeah,
it's going to pop out of the socket, and depending on the speed you're on, it could cause a damage. So I tell people when you're driving, every now and then, most especially when you're on a rough road, slow down, turn down the music, even turn down the AC fan, because when the AC fan is on high, you hear the blower, you don't hear the noise. So reduce this noise. Try and see where is the noise coming from. Is it from your vehicle? This way you can tell there is a problem, and you can mitigate the damage by being able to discern the noise. Or going to your mechanic to tell him, I have a noise coming from this side. And it's for the mechanic to check and drive with you and tell you which area of this vehicle is giving you this problem.
Okay, now we just spoke about two breakdowns now. There are a lot of breakdowns. The reason why I'm bringing them up, because a lot of people will be traveling over some hundreds of kilometers and all that during their travel and all that. So we need to actually give them information on some of the things they need to look out for while driving. You know, and some of the repairs they need to perform immediately before they embark on their journey. Now, let's look at some other issues, because we could also have an electrical breakdown.
Yes.
I want to pick one particular one, the starter motor, for instance.
Okay.
Now, what would be the telltale sign? Because most of the vehicles we actually drive these days are automatic.
Yes.
And of course, you know, when you're driving a vehicle that is automatic, you don't have the luxury of pushing it to start.
You cannot push start it.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, if I am going to have a starter motor-related problem soon, what would be some of the telltale signs?
The telltale sign, if your starter motor has a problem, some of the telltale signs you are going to see or feel or hear is the starter is going to drag.
Okay.
And what I mean by dragging is the response, the way you start the engine.
Yeah.
You know, your normal engine will crank at about 600-700 RPM.
Yeah.
But when the starter is failing, it's going to drag. And when this is happening, it's actually taking away a lot of juice, a lot of power from the battery, because it's dragging. So that means the amperage, the resistance is high, and it's pulling out of the battery.
Yeah.
And when you have this...
Okay, can you just hold on? Let's take a call from Precious from Ajagule. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, Precious. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Yeah, can you please turn down the volume on your TV set so we'll be able to hear you properly?
I said, what normally causes the breakdown of vehicles?
Well, that is what we're actually discussing. We are looking at several other breakdowns.
Does it have
there are several reasons there are several reasons why a vehicle could break down. If you have any particular breakdown, you can actually tell us what breakdown it is.
She went off the line, but I wish she had told us, or if she has experienced any breakdown, or what did the mechanic tell her that
it's the cause of the breakdown.
Yeah, but she didn't really tell us. But a lot of things can cause a vehicle to break down.
Yeah.
Some of it could be negligence on the part of the vehicle owner or the driver.
Yeah.
Because these vehicles will warn you.
All right. That warning will come when we come back from this short break. Please don't go away.
So you can actually drive your vehicle without engine oil for 50 kilometers. This is very, very achievable, all thanks to Polytron. Still a doubting Thomas? Let our technician prove this to you.
We are about to drain the engine oil of this car to see the power of Polytron, the product that has nanotechnology buried in it, because we believe that Polytron is already working in it. And after doing that, put the car together and we'll drive it around.
Now that you have seen the power of Polytron, buy a bottle today to increase the lifespan of your engine, reduce fuel consumption, save cost also on expensive repairs.
Strong communication skills, good diagnostic skills, problem-solving skills, solid work ethics, strong technical aptitude, and up-to-date technology. Watch Automedics on your reach out station as we provide clear-cut solutions to your automobile problems. Automedics, showing every Wednesday at 11:30 a.m. with a repeat broadcast at 11:30 a.m. on Saturdays. Automedics, the best hands on your automobile.
Welcome back to the Automedics show, and we're still discussing vehicle breakdown. And before we went on our break, we were discussing starter breakdown.
Yeah, we're talking of starter breakdown.
Yeah.
I mentioned that the starter itself could be, most especially when you have the bushings or the bearings inside the starter going bad. It's going to cause, because it's caused the stator. I mean, the armature to be rubbing on the stator, which will cause it to drag. Could even burn out the starter completely. This will cause a drag. But this will not cause the vehicle to actually break down on the road immediately. But it will warn you every time you need to start the vehicle that there's something wrong, because it's going to. But we can still consider it as a breakdown.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm looking at it is because you're traveling, and of course you go to the popular joint, switch off your engine, and then go and
have a drink or eat something.
Yeah, and then you come back again to start your vehicle. And that is a breakdown.
It is a breakdown. But it's, where we're talking of breakdown, you see, when this happens, before it gets to that stage,
that's what I'm actually looking at.
Before it gets to that stage that it actually breaks down, it will have been warning you, unless there's actually an electrical failure to the starter. And in most cases, what will cause an electrical failure to the starter is either you have a loose connection from the battery power to the starter, or you have to the starter switch, which is the
ignition, the relay.
The relay. You could have an electrical connection. Sometimes a loose connection will cause the starters to fail. This could even damage the starter or damage any of
electrical
components. Because if you have a loose connection to the starter, let's use the battery terminal going to the starter, direct 12 volt. If you have a loose terminal, when you're trying to crank it, if it doesn't make good contact, it's going to draw too much amperage. It will overheat the wire, which could burn other wires. This will cause a problem. So you would definitely see a telltale sign. A loose battery terminal will also cause this problem. So these are some of the things that once you start seeing it, it start happening. Don't ignore it. Quickly let your mechanic or your technician address it and say, tell him or her the problem you're facing with the starter, and let them address it.
Okay, well, I think there are so many things that will cause breakdown, and unfortunately we cannot be able to take all of them in this single show. But the advice is very simple. If you notice any behavior with your vehicle, that is handling, maneuverability, or whatever you notice that is quite alien with the way your vehicle is performing, please take it for checkup. And most importantly at this particular time, because a lot of you will be traveling several kilometers, so you won't afford any breakdown at that time.
If I can add to that, any driver driving, you are like a pilot flying a plane. The instrument cluster is for you. And all those lights that are coming on, either it's flashing or it stays on, they're there to warn you, to tell you something is going on. Some is just to tell you you're doing okay. Some is to warn you when it's orange. When it's red, there is a problem. All these signs are there to warn you. So as a driver, when you're driving, you're supposed to be looking at this light every now and then. Not to get fixated on it, but just check it. Is everything okay on my dashboard? Look at it. When you see a sign, address it immediately. Then as a driver also, always be attentive to noise, to sounds.
Not the sound from your music set.
Not, yes.
All right. Until we come your way again next time, please do take care of your vehicle and ensure you perform the necessary maintenance before you put it on the road. Have a blessed day.